Good morning. I welcome you all to today's lecture. And today I am going to talk about social work as a profession. Dear friends, a basic question is usually asked whether social work is a profession or not. The question is social work a profession? So today I am going to justify social work as a profession. What are the attributes of a profession and how social work as a profession match to those attributes. So before going to discuss and justify social work as a profession, let us first try to understand the difference between an occupation and a profession. So usually when we talk about occupation, an occupation refers to the regular activity performed by a person to earn his bread and butter. So, if you look at this concept of occupation, it is just like anyone who can adopt a means of livelihood as his occupation. So, it is any regular activity that is performed by a person to earn his bread and butter. So anyone who is doing any kind of work, whether someone is managing a hotel, someone is a farmer, someone is a blacksmith, someone is a goldsmith, these are all occupations. But when we talk about a profession, it is an occupation or vocation which requires a high degree of knowledge and expertise in the specific field. So a profession should have a high degree of knowledge. At the same time, it should have expertise in the special field. For example, lawyers, doctors, they are all professionals, and social work is also a profession. So we shall be discussing further regarding the attributes of a profession and how social work is a profession. So according to Greenwood, I have picked off some of the important attributes talked by Greenwood, who says three things. The first one is systematic principles and knowledge. Every profession has a systematic principles and knowledge. Secondly, there is professional ethics. Any profession you talk about, in each and every profession, there is ideals, rules of behavior, pattern to be followed by the members. Each and every member of a profession follows certain values, follows certain ethics. And thirdly, there is community acceptance. So the profession should be recognized by the community and the state. According to Friedlander, there are certain attributes or qualities which should be possessed by a profession. So to consider any occupation as a profession, there should be certain attributes. Firstly, training under the supervision of experienced teachers and practitioners. So the professionals, they must receive training under the supervision of experienced teachers and practitioners. Then only we can call it as a profession. So the people who are getting into a profession, they should receive training, they should receive education under the supervision of teachers. Then there should be establishment of educational institutions. So educational provisions must be there for considering some occupation as professions, whether at the university level or at the college level or at the school level, there must be establishment of educational institutions. So the professionals must be receiving educational degrees from educational institutions. And there should be a recognition of professional education by universities and including the same as part of universities educational and academic programs. So there should be provision of educational and academic program at different levels in the universities. Then coming to Johnson, he has talked about 5 attributes of a profession. According to Johnson, every profession should have 5 attributes, 5 qualities. What are these 5 attributes? The first one, a special skill or capabilities which can be transmitted through academic training. So in every profession, an attempt is made to build up the skills or capabilities of the individuals who are getting into a profession. And these skills and capabilities are transmitted to the people, to the professionals through academic training centers. For example, the universities are providing educations to different professionals. Then secondly, there are clear and specific methods which can be taught through a systematic and special educational system. And these knowledge and skills are based on academic teaching. So methods is very, very important. Any profession you talk about, it should have a specific methods. It should have some techniques. It should have some procedures and skills which should be possessed by the professionals. So these skills, these knowledge, these attitudes, these values and ethics are built up by receiving training in the educational institutions. Then thirdly, the professionals workers bound together in the form of some organized groups. So these organized groups means there should be the organized group of the professionals. So many a times the professionals they work in group and they are bound together in the form of some organized group. So we find existence of different kinds of organizations of professionals. The fourth attribute of a profession, according to Johnson, is the professional organizations. So there should be professional organizations to qualify some occupation as profession. And the fifth one is a feeling of responsibility towards other professional colleagues with respect to a standard of services fixed by a worker for himself. Now, we talked about the qualities, the attributes which should be there to define any occupation as a profession. Now, let us try to see whether in the field of social work these attributes are there or not. So, before going to justify social work as a profession, we must analyze the social work through the lens of professional attributes. So let us try to understand, let us try to view the social work profession through the lens of professional attributes. The first one, which we had discussed in my previous slides, systematic principles and knowledge. Now, the basic question is, do we find a systematic principles and knowledge in social work? The answer is yes. We find and we do find systematic principles and knowledge in the field of social work. For example, there are general principles of social work, there are principles of casework, principles of group work, principle of community organization, and definitely social work is based on scientific knowledge and specialized skills. The social workers who are working in different arenas in our society, they are possessed with scientific knowledge and they have specialized skills. Some are more skillful in the area of casework, some are working as social group workers, some are working as community organizers. So it is an indication that social workers have scientific knowledge and they are specialized in their own fields. If we look at social work education, then also we find that the knowledge of social work are drawn from various social sciences like sociology, anthropology, home sciences, etc. For example, there are also components of economics, components of MBA. For example, if you talk about HR as a specialization, and there are also components of law. So the knowledge of social work are drawn from various subjects, and it's a multidisciplinary subject. And to make it more scientific, there is social work research. And when we talk about knowledge, social work has its specialization also. For example, community development, human resource development, women development, clinical social work, psychiatric social work, etc. Now, another attribute of defining any occupation as a profession is special methods and techniques. These special methods and techniques, do we have in social work? Yes, the answer is a big yes. There are 6 methods of social work, which includes social casework, social group work, community organization, social action, social work research, and social welfare administration. Out of which the first 3, that is casework, group work, and community organization, are known as the direct method of social work practice, and social action, social work research, and social welfare administration are known as the indirect method of social work practice. So in social work, we have a well-developed methods, and there are also techniques which are applied in the field, which are applied while working with the people. For example, the technique of home visit, the technique of personal interview. These techniques are applied by the social workers. So social work has already a developed package of knowledge. It has special methods which are applied by the social workers, and the social workers apply techniques for helping the people. The next attribute of defining any uh, occupation as a profession is educational provision. In social work, is there educational provision? Yes, there are educational provisions starting from graduation, starting from BSW to MSW to MPhil, then more specialized MPhil in psychiatry, social work, PhD, postdoctoral research, etc. Different universities, different colleges are providing social work education. Of course, comparatively in India, it is still not developed in all parts of India. But with the beginning of uh, the social work institution way back in 1936, with the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, popularly known today, we have many universities and colleges which are providing social work education. So there are educational provisions, and many students can come to educational institutions for receiving education. They receive education at graduate level, that is known as BSW, postgraduate level, that is known as MSW. Then for higher study there is MPhil, and then again PhD and postdoctoral research. There are many such provisions of education. So social work fulfills this criteria. There is another criteria of profession, that is professional organizations. Very briefly, I shall talk about some of the important professional organizations which exist at international level. The international professional organizations in the field of social work, like the National Association of Social Workers, International Federation of Social Workers, the Network for Social Work Management, Society for Social Work and Research, Clinical Social Work Association, International Association of Schools of Social Work, etc. These are only a few international organizations in the field of social work. Besides than that, in every country, they have their professional organizations. For example, in India, we have National Association of Professional Social Workers in India, NAPSI, the greatest and the biggest professional organization in India. So also there are professional organizations in each and every country throughout the world. And most importantly, to define anything as a profession, there should be a code of ethics, and which we do find in the field of social work. For example, in social work have ethical responsibilities towards client, towards colleague, towards service agency, towards social work profession, towards the community and society. So we have a good package of code of ethics, which popularly known as the NASW Code of Ethics in Social Work. So dear friends, never underestimate social work as a profession. And if anyone asks you whether social work is a profession or not, then the answer is definitely a yes, and a big yes. Social work is a profession, and social work fulfills all the criteria that should be there in a profession. So I thank you all for listening to today's lecture, and please give your feedback in the comment section. How do you like today's lecture? Thank you.